The silent guest. Detective Evelyn Carter hated parties, but when billionaire Victor Langford invited her to his secluded estate in the countryside, she couldn't say no. The invitation was cryptic, an elegant card with just 5 words: a murder will be solved. Langford was famous for his eccentricity. A self-made tech mogul, he collected rare books, priceless art, and secrets. Most of all, he loved puzzles. Evelyn assumed this was just another one of his elaborate games. When she arrived, the estate was already buzzing with guests. Politicians, business tycoons, and socialites, all sipping expensive wine, exchanging fake smiles. A storm rumbled in the distance, and just as Evelyn stepped inside, the mansion's heavy oak doors shut behind her. Death at midnight, Langford appeared, raising a glass. "Welcome, everyone. Tonight we play a game of truth. But beware, secrets have consequences." As the evening went on, Evelyn watched the guests carefully. Tension simmered beneath the surface. Side glances, forced laughter, unspoken grievances. Langford had invited people who had something to hide. At exactly midnight, the lights flickered. A scream echoed from the library. Evelyn rushed in to find Victor Langford slumped over his desk, a glass of wine spilled beside him. His face was twisted in agony. He was dead. The guests stood frozen in shock. The storm outside howled. The mansion now completely cut off from the outside world. No one could leave. No one could enter. One of them was a killer. The suspects. Evelyn locked the doors to the library and faced the guests. "No one leaves this house until I find out who did this." The suspects: James Wren, a disgraced senator who Langford had exposed in a corruption scandal. Sophia Langford, Victor's estranged sister, bitter over their father's will. Dr. Alan Pierce, Langford's personal physician, rumored to have lost a fortune in a failed investment. Eleanor Grant, an investigative journalist who had spent years trying to expose Langford's secrets. David Knox, Langford's business partner, who was about to be cut out of a billion-dollar deal. Evelyn examined Langford's body. No wounds, no signs of struggle, just an empty wine glass. Poison. Unmasking the killer, Evelyn retraced Langford's final moments. He had taken a single sip of wine before collapsing. The glass had been poured from a decanter on the desk. But when she tested the decanter, it was clean. The poison had been placed in Langford's glass after the wine was poured. She studied the guests. Who had been closest to him? Then she saw it. David Knox had a ring on his pinky finger, identical to Langford's. But Langford never wore rings. She checked his hand. His pinky was bare. Knox had been near Langford all night. At some point, he had switched glasses. Confronting him, Evelyn laid out the truth. "Langford was going to cut you out of his company. You couldn't let that happen. You poisoned your own glass, then swapped it with his when he was distracted." The room fell silent. Knox's face paled. Suddenly, he lunged toward the fireplace, grabbing a poker. But Evelyn was faster. She tackled him, pinning him to the ground as the other guests gasped. The game was over. The murder was solved. The last move, the storm passed, and by morning the authorities arrived. As Knox was led away in handcuffs, Evelyn found a letter in Langford's desk, written the day before. "If you're reading this, I am dead, but I already know who will solve my murder. Well played, Detective Carter. Consider this my final game. I always knew you would win." Evelyn smirked. Langford had orchestrated everything. He knew he would be killed. He just wanted to make sure the right person was there to solve it. A murder had been committed, and a murder had been solved, just like he promised.